Hey guys, Reginald here, back today with another exciting deck profile. So for today I've got the Relinquished deck. It's a really sort of fun going second deck, just sort of blind seconds, break boards, attacking with their own attack points. So it's really fun. It's quite an old school deck but got modern support, and recently it's all been reprinted, so it's now super cheap. This is probably the most expensive in archetype card and it is £5. So this isn't a budget build, but you can build it quite cheaply anyway. So let's get into it. So for the main deck, we've got 3 copies of the OG Relinquished. Really fun card. I've seen some builds that can't actually summon this, they just use it purely as a fusion material. I don't really agree with that, I think it's not in the spirit of the deck. So I've gone for 3 copies. Pre-preparation of rights makes it really easy to summon. So just a free way to get into your to steal a monster, then you can make an anima, so you've stole 2 monsters. So really strong card, just really cool as well. And then you've got 3 copies of the Millennium-Eyes Illusionist. Really great sort of hand trap. You can discard it and then attach one of their monsters to your guy as if it was attached by its own effect. So really good for using as a tribute as well, to sort of mitigate the cost of your ritual spell, because when you summon a Relinquished or Eyes Restrict, it comes back to your hand, and that is mandatory. So really great card. Just helps you. It just sort of stuns your opponent. They summon a guy, you steal it. Again, really cheap card. Lovely different rarities there, where they've all got different coloured names. Just a nice little cool feature. Got the one Illusionist Faceless Magician. It sort of floats, so when the Relinquished or the Eyes Restrict dies, it summons itself. When it dies, it summons one back. So it just gives you like a little soft loop. You only play the 1, but it is really nice to have. I considered playing 2, but I wanted to keep it at 40, so it's the 1. We've got 3 copies of the Predaplant Orphis Scorpio. You're playing a lot of fusion spells in this deck. You want to be able to get to your Relinquished Fusion, to your Instant Fusion, Super Poly, whatever you need. So really great card. I can't really say much more. It's also a Link 2, so really strong. You've got the 1 Dark Antonia Cobra. Yeah, again, really strong. You don't want to draw it, just summon it from the deck, search any fusion card or polymerization. Can't complain. Try not to draw it. 2 copies of Jester Comfort. I considered bumping this up to 3 because it's a really nice extender, helps you make the Anaconda or even just anima, but then I realised he's like £5 each in common, so I was like, I'll play 2, you know. I'm not spending £5 for 1 common for 1 deck. Nah, not happening. Then we are actually playing a big kaiju package, so it's 2 copies of Jizukiru. You actually want to play the bigger kaijus for this deck because you do plan on giving them a kaiju, then taking it back for its attack points, so you want to play the biggest ones. I'm also playing 2 Thunder King. We are playing the Slumber, so I wanted to have as many different names. So again, really strong. Just you slumber, give yourself 1 massive one, and give them a massive one, then you steal the massive one, and you've got 6 damage already. So really strong card. 2 copies of Dogoran. This is important because it's level 8. It comes up as part of an OTK. Really strong. You just activate the Slumber and then give them a card that's bigger than this, and then you can summon out the Alpha, and then you're able to make the rank 8 the Driglubion, which will then summon out a Numeron on 9000 attack. So that's really cool. Playing just the 2 copies of Alpha. I would play 3, but I only own 2. But again, really strong. That OTK is so easy to do. All you need is an Alpha and a Kaiju Slumber and it's game. So really strong. Just one of the strongest go second cards I've noticed. Really good with Kaijus as well, because obviously you can bounce it and then Kaiju them again. 3 copies of Relinquished Fusion. It's a really cool fusion spell. Just lets you summon, it being a quick effect, really good sort of use it in both players' turns if you do draw 2. I just really like this card. Helps you go into the Millennium-Eyes Restrict, and it also, you can banish it to attach a card. So Eyes Restrict is a very responsive card, whereas this, if they're not activating anything, you can actually just banish this, then steal a card anyway. So really, really strong. 3 copies of Super Poly. Good going first and second. We are playing the Mud Dragon and the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. So really strong, breaks boards. It's especially good now that the Buster Lock has been banned, because it did go out of favour for a while, but this can really help. Although it still struggles against things like the Vanity's Rule that they're now putting up. So still a really good card. Then the last fusion spell. There's 1 copy of Instant Fusion. It's the only way you can actually access the 1000 Eyes Restrict in this deck, because we are not playing the 1000 Eyes Idol at all. But again, really, really cool card. Also, it can summon out the Millennium-Eyes Restrict for cross sheet plays, you know, bringing it back in your end phase, bringing it back in their turn, whatever. Really cool. 2 copies of Black Illusion Ritual. I found the third was bricky. It's just a ritual spell, you know, you can search off the pre-prep, or you can add it back off the prep, so really good. 3 copies of Kaiju Slumber. Again, this plus the big level 8 beast, can't remember its name, is an OTK. Really strong, helps you grind as well, because it gives you a Kaiju again when you banish it. You have to play through this card. It's such a great extender, board wipe, whatever you need. 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. Some of the best ritual support we've had in years, not counting Drytron. Really, really cool card. I love it. Makes all your old-fashioned rituals just playable, which they weren't before, so really strong. 3 copies of Prep. You are playing, well, they're less than level 7, so you want to be able to just search out the deck. Just adds a lot of consistency and adds a lot of recursion as well, because it can actually add back the spell from grave as well. Really, really good. And lastly, you've got the 1 copy of Foolish Burial. It can be hard if you don't draw a Relinquished, because it's actually quite hard to search it in the deck, you know. So if you don't start out with one, you want to be able to at least get one in grave, so you can actually fuse from grave with it. So this comes up a lot. So that's it for the main deck. And then for the extra deck, I've got 3 copies of Millennium-Eyes Restrict. It's really good. It can negate hand traps, can negate monsters on the field, obviously gains attack, and it's the only one that's not maximum 1 equip, so you can actually use the other effects, like, you know, the discard to attach to it. So really, really good. You can actually summon multiples. There are combos like Cross Sheep, you can end on like 2, maybe even 3. So I do really like this card a lot. You've got 1 copy of 1000 Eyes Restrict. I wish Instant Fusion was at 3. When I used to play this deck at first, we had 3 Instant Fusion. You just summon this every single game, just keep stealing things, and then it was just a Restrict deck really, but now it's more focused on Millennium-Eyes. And for your Super Poly targets, you've got the Mud Dragon and the Starving Venom. Both really great, just dark decks are always running around, and if it's not dark, you can probably do this with it. Another interesting thing, with the Verte Anaconda, you can often make something dark, so you can target their monster, then Super Poly him. Obviously also you can send the Super Poly from deck, but I just mean if you have one in hand. So really, really strong. Again, level 8 can be used as part of the Glubion combo. 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. You only need the 1. The fact it's not treated as a relinquished monster is really annoying, because all the cards don't say relinquished monster, they say if relinquished is summoned, which this is not. So it's not actually part of the archetype, which is a real shame. So when you summon it, you don't add back the, I think it's called Millennium-Eyes, I honestly can't remember, it's so late at night, but it doesn't add that back, which is a shame. So 1 copy of that. Got 1 copy of Link Karibo. This comes up all of the time. Sometimes you'll literally just link this and then link climb again, just so you've got it engraved, so if they do try and target your Millennium-Eyes or whatever, you can at least tag it out for this. So really, really good card. You have to play this. 1 Anaconda. I'd consider playing 2 if I had to. This card is so, so good. You're playing so many different fusion spells, so it can be whatever you want it to be, essentially. Being able to super play from deck is always nice. 1 copy of Cross Sheep. It really helps you sort of get multiple Millennium-Eyes out in the same turn. You can actually get off the ritual effect as well if you're not doing so well, so you can draw 2, discard 2, but you really want the special summon from graveyard. Got one copy of Phoenix. I think it's a great utility card. It comes up a fair amount because you are playing a Predaplant engine, so Link 2s are quite easy to make. I didn't have room for Unicorn, but I figured this was more impactful and also a lot easier to make. So, got one access code. Again, it's really good, especially with the Phoenix, you know, co-linking and things. Sometimes you just want to be able to blow up a board, and this card is what you need. So, it's a lot easier to end a game with this because you don't need as many cards as you do with like a Borrow Sword, for example. So, really good. And then for the last little package, we've got the Juglubion package. So what you do, you make a rank 8, summon this, use its effect, summon this and attach it to this. And this will gain 9,000 attack because it gains 1,000 for every rank on the field, so 8, 9. So it's a really quick way to just end a game that you shouldn't otherwise win. So really, really good. I'm so glad I play this, it wins a lot of games for me. So that's it for the extra. And onto the side, we are actually playing something for going first. We're playing 3 copies of Tour Guide and a Sangan. Like I said before, if you don't see the Relinquished, it can be quite hard, whereas this guarantees you an Anaconda and a Relinquished in hand, so you can actually just fuse straight away using the Relinquished from hand. Or you can make a cross sheep or whatever else you want. Really good. If you do already have the Relinquished, you can actually search the hand trap as well to let you interrupt. So it gives you a Millennium-Eyes and then the interruption, so it's really, really good. I didn't want it going second because I thought it was a bit too slow, but I do really like it. 3 copies of Dark Ruler no more. You don't want to face multi-negate fields, you just want to be able to stun them, take all the monsters, so really, really strong card. I'd play more if I could. And then controversially, we're playing 3 Forbidden Chalice. This deck can't afford to play droplets, you don't want to lose cards in your hand that much at all, and it's really good against Drytron, against Virtual World, because unlike with Impermanence, they actually find it hard to play around this, because if they have a VFD, they're going to wait for you to play a card, then they're going to chain the VFD, so you can't chain the Impermanence controller card, whereas with this you can still get them, and the fact that you boost the VFD actually helps you win. So it's really good for that because you don't have to control no cards to be able to play it from hand. Imperm's still a very interesting card, and I do play one, but I feel this is just a stronger Imperm at this point. You've got 3 copies of Lightning Storm. You don't want to face back row, you just don't, because you can't steal it, so why would you play through it? So 3 Lightning Storm and 1 Duster. Same logic, just a better card because, you know, it has literally no restrictions, just wipe your opponent's back row, okay, win. Then lastly, you've got the 1 copy of Impermanence. It's still good, but it's not as good. There are a lot of ways to play around at this format, especially with like the VFD shenanigans. You activate it, they chain it, or you have to wait and then you can't activate it. So it has quite a narrow window against certain cards, especially VFD, but I think it's still worth playing, so that's it for the side deck. So this has been my Relinquished deck profile, hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.